The trigger for the day that we'll be discussing is growing older. I didn't know what was going on with me. I normally would wake up every day. I exercised, was eating right, and all of a sudden these things started happening. So one day, I got up and I went in the bathroom and I started to comb my hair to prepare for work. And my hair was coming out in the brush. So that was the first sign that something was going wrong. So I was buying all of these different products, putting stuff in my hair, trying to make myself just, at least feel better about it. Like there's no way. I had never, ever in my life experienced this. So I would get up early in the morning, much earlier than I have to, so that I could go and either ride my stationary bike in the house or do a little aerobic, or probably go to work early, because we had this long walk near my job that would take you up on a lot of inclines and a lot of declines, and I would try to get in about 3 miles or so before I start my day, right? And then I would put my mascara and all of that stuff on in my job once I had come back. It all depends on whether I was working out at home or whether I worked out at work. So one day, I was just driving along on my way to work. I thought I was feeling good, and all of a sudden I just got this gloomy feeling that just came all over me, like it was literally washing over me. I was like, Deitra, you having a stroke? Like, what's really happening? I pulled over. Am I going to go home? Am I going to get off the next exit and go home? Am I going to continue to go to work? But I was way much closer to work than I was home at this point. So I went on ahead and went to work. But when I got to work, it was gone. Like, the feeling that I had was gone. Then next week, it would happen again. Like, we don't know that we're actually making ourselves sick. We have no idea. So that's what I was doing. It had to be something, because if it was a stroke, I would have stroked out already. Like, what is this? Why is my heart racing? Huh? Why do I feel this tingle all through my flesh? Why do I feel so sad and burdened down? Why am I so gloomy? So one day I got up, same routine, said I'm gonna get up early, get ready to go to work. So I went in the bathroom, turned the light on. And when you walk in the bathroom, you turn the light on, for most of us, the mirror is right there. By the time I came out of the bathroom, I started feeling this anxiousness. Like I was anxious, like if I was gonna get ready to go on a stage and talk to thousands and thousands of people for the first time or something. I can't even explain it. And it was like this rush was running over me, and I was like, oh my God, not again. Like, what is this? Please, God. Now, I know a lot of you may not be religious or believe in God, and you may look to the universe or whatever, but everybody looks to some higher power for some sort of help and hope. To me, it was God. So I was like, oh my God, what is this? What could be possibly happening to me? What is going on? I walked back in the bathroom. I didn't know what I was going to do. Am I going to call in? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to get in this car and this is going to happen again, because it had already happened like maybe two times already. I walked in the bathroom, I turned the light on, and I looked up. And when I looked up, I saw myself, and I thought about it. It only happens on the days that you decide you're not going to walk. If you decide you're not going to run, if you decide you're not going to ride your bike, and you have that extra time at home, you'll go in the bathroom, turn the light on. You turn the light on, you have all this extra time, you're playing around in the mirror, you're playing in your face. I figured it out. So on the days that I was running to get out of here to go get those miles in, I wasn't watching myself. On the days that I was moving later, I was actually paying more attention, because I'm changing. None of us want to change. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that when we grow older, these are things that happen. But I had no idea that it was going to take me to a place where I would feel like I didn't want to go on. I had no idea what was happening. So I took a long stare in the mirror. And I don't know how many of you actually talk to yourself, hear yourself self-talk, but I looked in that mirror and I looked at myself and I said, you are the problem. My own damn reflection. When time creep in on you, I don't even know how deep other people feel this. They're feeling sad all the time and don't realize what it is. It's not that I don't like myself, because I love Deitra. I just didn't like what was happening. You know, different things that happen when you grow older. And being that I have always taken such good care of myself, I guess mentally I was feeling like I ought to be able to control what's going on. I ought to be able to control what is happening. I was making myself sick. I almost threw away every mirror in my house, and I have a lot of them. Because I was like, you are the cause of your problem. So you don't need nobody to tell you what's going on, because you just figured it out. Whenever you're not in that mirror, you're happy. And how many of you are experiencing anxiety or panic attacks because of growing older? How many of you are actually not accepting the fact that you're growing older? I had to come up with my own coping skills. I knew what I needed to do. And I'm going to tell you, maybe it'll help you. I had to sit down, take some deep, long breaths. Yeah, it does work. You know, the breathe in, you know, with the stomach out, the breathe out with the stomach out, you know, all of the little techniques. Yeah, it works, but only for a moment. It's not going to keep it away. It's not going to keep it away. Eventually, you're going to get to the bottom of it so that you can at least try to alleviate some of it. Keep your mind focused on positive things, or you end up, you know, with medicine. You end up with some medication, you know, and end up depending on something. You know, I don't know exactly how all the medicine works. I just know that I am not a prescription taker, and as long as I can do without a prescription, I'm going to do that. This year, I'll be 52 this year. And I thought about it, and I said, what I'm going to do and how I'm going to cope with this is, first off, I'm going to decide to be grateful. Every morning, no matter what, when I open my eyes, before I get out of my bed, when I sit up, the first thing I'm going to do is recognize the gift that I've been given. I'm going to be grateful that I am growing older. I'm going to be grateful that I am still here. I'm going to realize how much of a blessing that is. Self-talk does wonders. I know I'm not going to be young forever. I got more living behind me than I have in front of me. But guess what? There's a lot of people who have left this world before us. There's a lot of people who, if they had the chance, they would take your place. If they could get up out of the grave and get a second chance, and God said, take Deitra's place, they would gladly take my place. So when I think about that, the gratefulness just overflows, like it overflows. It lifts my spirits up so much to just know that I do not have to worry and whine, and I have no reason to be griping about growing older. Because it's going to happen. Why is my skin so soft? Why? You know what? Who cares? Girl, you better get more collagen in your life. That's what you better do. You better up your dose of biotin. If you need to run more, you better get outside and you better run more. You better do whatever you do that makes you happy, because changing the fact that you grow older, that's not going to happen. all we can do is be what? Thankful. When we talk positive about ourselves, just be grateful. Just be grateful. Now this is me. And maybe if you think about it, it'll help you too. I take long walks. I go up in the mountain. I sit. I get a little solitude, and I feel great. And when I started accepting the fact that age is going to continue every day, we all, not just me, my kids, you, every day we get another day older. It's not the end of the world. Did I ever think that I would get this old? Of course not. But when you get to the point where it's you, it is not a game. But once again, you still here. And that is the most tremendous blessing you could ever ask for. Because as long as you're here, you have a chance to start over. There are things that you can do with your life that you probably never thought about doing. There's a lot of things that you could do. A lot of blessings are probably coming your way that you didn't even realize were coming. Most people get their biggest blessings at an older age. So that's my first story and how I began to cope. And the reason why it's that simple to me is because when I started closing my eyes and saying, to breathe today is power. I thank you, God, for another day. Oh, how happy I am to wake up this morning. When I started being grateful and stopped whining about something I can't change. How many of you have ever suffered from anxiety and you're triggered by age? Growing older has triggered you. Let's talk about it. Leave some comments in the comment box below and let's have a conversation. And hopefully someone will hear something that will make them want to open up and discuss. What we have is each other. That's what we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have each other. We're supposed to be there for each other. Okay? And some people may say, well, the way you just said you cope, that is much easier said than done. No, it's not. Because it was so bad for me. I literally thought I was dying. What is this? Like, give me a paper bag. Like something is happening. Like, oh, I'm finna stroke out in this car, in this traffic, and I'm gonna wreck, and I'm gonna not just hurt myself, I'm gonna hurt someone else in this car. It was bad. When I get off work in the evening, I hate to get in the car. When I get in the car in the morning, every morning I get ready to go to work, I would hate to literally get in my car. But I realize it only happens on the days that I focus on the change in me. When I stopped focusing on it, and I accepted and started teaching myself to love the changes and just realize that it's just you. At the end of the day, Deitra, it's still you. You still there. You still that person. You're just a little older. Be grateful. Leave your comments in the box. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Growing older with anxiety, and have a good night.